everybody. Welcome to Gathering of the Minds.
Well, I have an answer.
Come closer to the mic if you could.
I have an answer for
Right up here.
the fake digital content that can be out there, right? One of which is the blockchain. Because right now there's technology that you can timestamp anything that's created against the blockchain. So then if you create technology, which is out here, it's easy to do, where basically take a video of something and it timestamps, okay, at that time, at that location, this is what it was. And then if there's changes at that, you could always check to see, okay, well, we know that this thing was modified after it was originally made. So there's a way in technology to deal with fake digital content.
Wouldn't that require every reporting device to be connected to the internet as before the police?
Yeah, and they more or less are already, right?
But that requires
If it's against the blockchain, it's decentralized. No, it is. It just is. I mean, that's what it was designed to be. So that's that. And then I think
There's not
other,
just one blockchain, there's many blockchains.
there are, but I'm just, now we're talking about more details. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
there's a
versioning
solution.
systems.
There's a
using
solution. Yeah, there's a
as much as we
solution.
can, yeah.
There's a solution. The other thing I want to touch on is, I think the main issue is accountability. And I think what you were referring to earlier about the trolling, right? No one trolls you like they do in real life as they do online because they don't feel that accountability. And that's why I think that
You
people.
probably just closed it. He's fine.
I think when we're talking about free speech or any sort of freedom to do something, we're all free to do whatever, right? Now there's levels of accountability for that. I'm free to go murder somebody, but if I'm caught, I go to jail, right? It's just, I'm accountable for it. If I'm not caught, I don't go to jail, but there's nothing prohibiting me from doing that. And people can say and do things that are disgusting. And now we have to decide, okay, are we going to allow them to be accountable? And is it the social platform, be it Facebook or Google or this, that causes that? Or is it our society that's going to rise up and say, you know what, this, even if we disagree with it, it's fine, but this content, because it's just objectively obscene, these people need to be accountable for. So that's what I just want to touch upon those two issues.
Before we go to Q&A, I would like to ask everybody in the panel, what do you guys think is going to be happening in the future as far as the next generation, Generation Z? What are they going to experience? Are they going to be any different from us as far as the way they look at the world? So I would like to start from Daniel and just go around to the panel and find out.
I can't really, I don't know, but I have a daughter in high school, is that Generation Z?
Yeah.
I mean, they seem pretty nice so far. But I guess I'm more concerned about, some of these issues. I mean, I do think, I think that, what that man just brought up around the blockchain is interesting. That and I don't think there's necessarily a technological solution, except maybe we can use the blockchain to create networks of trust, so that people have some kind of verification that goes back to some type of source. Because with the swapping of fake news and now deepfake video, and all the alienation, atrophication of civic discourse, leading to all these maniacs getting all this attention, we've got some serious problems. And I do hope technology can be used in a wiser way to resolve them. I'm just not sure that that's the case.
I want to say something first. I think YouTube overall is a net positive. And often we have these conversations where we just rag on the things they're doing wrong. And as much as they have done wrong, I'm grateful and I benefit greatly being on YouTube, as well as many other social platforms. So just because we bring up these issues we want fixed doesn't mean we think the platform is bad. No, it means we want to make sure it stays good. Now, as for the future, I can't make any, I hate making predictions, but one thing that really scares me is that either we're going to see the divide keep getting worse and worse because we're to a point where people don't even want to talk to each other. We see an article where they call Sargon of Akkad right wing when he's clearly not, and that poisons the well. Now people are going to say, oh, okay, I'm not going to watch that guy's video. He's the other. And if that continues and gets worse and worse and worse, then what's going to happen to the next generation? Or these kids, like every generation in the past, says the adults are really stupid. Screw you. I'm going to do my own thing, and maybe it's solved simply because they think we're all idiots.
I think there's a momentum generally towards more open, cooperative structures. And there's even evolutionary reasons for that, Daniel and I have talked about before. So similar to what happened with Wikipedia disintermediated all those, Encarta, all those encyclopedias that no one ever uses anymore. Not that Wikipedia is like the ultimate source of information, but a small open source cooperative structure is the top 10 website. So that's gonna start happening probably with money, with social media, with every, probably farming, probably all different practices. So like Tim's saying, these platforms are, they're useful to a degree. We're on a Google Hangout right now. I mean, you have to give them credit for that to a certain degree, but the problem is that it's not free software. There's ring with surveillance. It's all totally nuanced, and we just have to keep building a better version of what they've created, because they're not making the moves to change it in the right direction fast enough. So we have to. It would be nice if they would just open up everything, open source everything, stop surveilling, so that we could actually stop spending our time and energy trying to catch up to them and build more ethical versions of what they've already created. So they're I think they're putting a restriction on evolution by making everyone, keeping it secret essentially. So it's, but it's inevitable. We're moving.
Well, real quick, to answer your question, what am I gonna do about it? I'm gonna keep doing what I have been doing, which is exposing that shit. Since we've already cursed, I'm just gonna keep going. Well, but that's what I work to do every day. And I would ask that everybody be more engaged. I think somebody on the panel mentioned that you kind of have to ask people to do something. I know that your news just comes to you and that's really nice, but we do have to be our own journalists and our own critics and be able to look at something. They did a survey in middle schoolers, 80% of them were not able to tell the difference between a native ad and an actual article that was real news. So this is problematic, and that's not to say that I think the next generation is doomed. I have hope, but no optimism. I don't think that everything's just gonna be fine because evolution. I think that we can make things better, but it requires a lot of work. And we have to be willing to do that work, particularly when we have these platforms that can perpetuate bullshit just as easily and as readily as they can perpetuate actual news and the beautiful ability to let somebody know what's happening thousands of miles away and outside of their purview. And with that, I will also say that as an organizer and as somebody who has visited people personally, I think that despite the fact that social media platforms are brilliant, there is something to be said for in-person and face-to-face organizing. And I think that with regards to reaching out to extremists or people that, post things that they hate all Jews or all Black people, I think that some of the work that needs to be done there will need to happen face-to-face and will need to happen on the front line, so to speak, of these issues as well.
This is the greatest thing that ever happened in my lifetime. I love this. For all the bad, I will take all the bad over when I grew up, which I thought was great. It wasn't really that great. We had a library, nobody knew anything. But when my question is, first of all, when Generation Z have kids, what are their kids called? Anyway, just a question.
Hey.
When we were kids, there was no such thing as a peanut allergy. Never heard of it. Every nut allergies, tree allergy. Now there's more allergies. I want this generation, because they were born in captivity, they've never known freedom, they don't know what 1984 is, they don't know who Orwell is, Orwellian dystopia, they don't know anything about having their limitations to their speech, their location known. I want them to have a new allergy, and that is to somebody say, you can't say that. And I want them immediately to say, whoa, who said that? Not what was the topic, but who said you can't say that? Don't you want to hear what the topic is? Not necessarily. Who said you can't say it? Why can't you say it? Is it the government? Is it YouTube? Is it my school? Is it who? Who's it? Is this organization? We're losing that. Because the argument is that, well, that is kind of racist. And, that's not the point. Because it's what you call it. Because I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna call what you're saying racist as well. I want there to be an allergy towards somebody saying you can't say something. Doesn't mean it's gonna be awful. Sometimes you're gonna hear every bit of dread and crap that people spew. But I would rather do that than live in a world where we're becoming more habituated to limitation of speech, but we're tolerating any kind of censorship. Governmental, platform, organizational, doesn't matter. Even these laws that say you can't, or here in New York, you can't have sugar, we had a sugar ban, you can't do this, and you gotta compost. We had a law in the city of New York, Operation Latch On, they came along and said, women in hospitals, in city hospitals, if they wanted to not breastfeed, which last time I checked was their right, we had Mayor Bloomberg who said, no, hide formula. This is the mayor of New York telling women they can't breastfeed. We're becoming more and more habituated to being told no, to stifle. That's all I want. I want them to have an allergy towards being told they can't say something. That's all.
Sticks?
I would say that in the short term, I'm pessimistic towards any given individual because what I see is a severe amount of suppression, a severe crackdown, not just online, but in culture in general. It goes towards the larger problem of what Lionel's talking about. People post 9/11 really, I think, really have come accustomed to the concept that they need to be kept safe. And it's morphed beyond being kept safe from some vacuous concept of an extremist, a physical other. Towards ideas itself that may themselves be extreme or labeled as such. Long term, though, over the next few years, you'd say after 2 or 3, I'm actually very optimistic about our chances because I think the amount of growth just in the last couple of years towards people realizing that we do have a cultural problem has grown so rapidly. It's no longer just partisan. It's not just Eurosceptics or a new right or something like that. It's gone beyond that into a cultural zeitgeist of sorts. And I think the reason for this is really that we're at the end of a political and social paradigm. I think if we look at what's happening in the world, that's a symptom of that. That's a good thing. I think it reforms the left, makes them less censorious. Maybe it reforms aspects of the right. It could be a very good thing for the world, but we've got to march through fire and hell for several years. And in that given period of time, more abuse from corporations, opportunists that don't themselves care about the moral side of issue. You'd think of a Sarkeesian, maybe, or a Dunham. They will continue to try to abuse people in order to justify, I think, their own existence.